Hello students, once again welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well and I hope you all are revising your content properly through our video lessons. Students, first of all, I would like to thank your parents for their immense support and guidance, and I would like to appreciate you people for your cooperation, right? You people have done your holidays homework very nicely. It's very creative. So I would like to thank your parents for their support, right? They have managed to bring all those stationery items for you people. So you should also be thankful to your parents. First thing. Now students, those who have already submitted, very good. I have seen your holidays homework. I have even checked that. Those who have not submitted, please try to finish it as soon as possible and try to submit it at school's reception. Okay. Now let's talk about video lesson. So students, in the recent video we have already covered chapter number 2 from the course book, right? In today's video lesson we will be revising grammar topic. So we have chapter number 1 and we have chapter number 2. So to understand chapter number 2 we have to first complete chapter number 1, right? So let's begin. So students, in your grammar we have chapter number 1, the sentence, and I'm sure that you all have seen the detailed explanation of the videos, right? But in today's video lesson we will be only revising it through some highlights. Okay, so first of all we need to understand that what is a sentence. So what do you understand from a sentence? Basically, what is a sentence? A sentence is a group of words, right? It's a group of words containing subject part and predicate part. So when words are combined together to form meaningful sentences, that is known as a sentence. Okay, some words are joined together to form sentences. And how can we say that our sentence is meaningful? Obviously, when we have a subject, a verb and an object. Okay, so I should be knowing the position of my subject, of my verb and my object. So that is why I can say that my sentence is meaningful, right? If I say he is watching TV, so this is meaningful. Can I say he TV watching? Can I say like this? No, I cannot say like this. Why I cannot say this? Because the position of my subject, verb and object is disturbed in this sentence, right? So that is why it is very important that in order to make a sentence meaningful, it should be properly placed. Position of my subject, verb and object should be properly placed. Okay. Now we have different types of sentences. And what are those? We have already studied that we have 5 types of sentences. Okay, basically we have 4, but in declarative we have further 2. So declarative, it's somehow divided into 2 parts. So let's talk about these type of sentences. So students, when we talk about different types of sentences, number 1 which we have is declarative sentences, and these declarative sentences are further divided into 2 parts. First is affirmative, or we also say assertive or negative. So we have declarative, then we have interrogative, we have imperative and we have exclamatory sentences. So basically we have these 4 types. Number 1 comes declarative. Now what do you understand from declarative sentences? Declarative sentences means those sentences which declare something, right? Which talks about some fact, which gives some information. So these are very basic or general type of sentences. So we can say, if we say he is writing a letter, so this is my journal statement, because here I'm just talking about some action which is being taking place, right? So if I'm saying he is writing a letter, so what he is doing? He is simply writing a letter. Okay. I am drinking milk. Simple statement. Okay. You are playing football. Simple statement. So whenever we are talking about simple statement, journal fact, some information, so that is known as declarative sentence. And similarly, assertive or affirmative is the same. Okay, which passes on some information, which talks about a journal fact. So these type of sentences are declarative, right? Then in declarative we have negative also. Okay, it is further divided into affirmative and negative. So right now we have just seen declarative. If we talk about negative sentence, what are negative sentences? If I say you are teaching good, okay, so if I add here you are not teaching good, so here I have used negation. What is negation? I have used some negative thing. And what is that negative thing? That is not. So students, make it a point that whenever we are using not, neither, nor, doesn't, don't. So all these are used to change an affirmative sentence into a negative sentence. Okay, are you understanding this, that how we are changing it? So whenever I am saying you are not eating your food properly, so here also I have used not. You don't know me, don't. Here I have used don't. So this is how I am using these things to change my sentence into negative. Okay, understanding? Now let's see further. So now the next one which we have is interrogative sentences. So students, what are interrogative sentences? See, interrogative sentences are those sentences which ask questions. Okay, if I say where do you live, what are you doing, what is your name, okay, how have you done your work, okay, when will you complete your work. So here I have certain WH family, okay, and I have some modals as well which I can use to frame my questions. So make sure that whenever we are talking about interrogative sentences, we use a punctuation mark. And what is that? That is question mark. Okay, when we talk about declarative sentences, affirmative sentences, we use a full stop to complete those sentences. Okay, but when we are talking about interrogative sentences, we use a question mark to complete the sentence. Okay, so whenever we are raising a question, we have to complete it by using a question mark. Okay, now sometimes we already have WH family, okay, when, where, how, what, all these things. But sometimes I may not have this WH family. I may have you are tired, full stop. This is affirmative sentence, okay. But I can change this into interrogative. Are you tired? Question mark. So can you see? I can even use these helping words to change my simple sentence into an interrogative sentence. It's all about the magic of your subject, verb and object. You must know when to place, where to place in order to transform your sentence. So transformation of sentence is very important. So students, I would like to request you that if you have not seen the revision videos properly, you have to see the content which I have already covered. Okay, because in that I have already explained the chapter in detail. So if you want to understand the content, you have to go back to the previous videos to understand all the content, and then you have to see these revision videos. Okay, now let's talk about the third type of sentence. So the third one which we have is imperative sentences. Do you know something about imperative sentences? That what are imperative sentences? See, imperative sentences are those sentences which we use to show request, command, suggestion, orders. Okay, you ought to respect your nation. What is this? This is imperative, that you have to do this work, right? You should obey your parents, right? Don't spit over there. Here I am giving a command that don't spit over there. Okay, so these are certain examples that how do we use imperative sentences. Sometimes to make a polite request we use imperative sentences. Okay, please bring me a glass of water. Kindly complete your work. So this is how we can use imperative sentences. Okay, so now the fourth one, which is the last one, is exclamatory sentences, and I'm sure that most of you must be knowing about this one because it is the most easiest one, right? So students, what are exclamatory sentences? Exclamatory sentences are those sentences which are used to show emotions or feelings. Okay, whenever we are sad, we are happy, we are amazed, we are shocked, so we use these type of expressions in exclamatory sentences. And what is the punctuation mark for exclamatory sentences? Yes, we use an exclamation mark. Okay, so we use exclamation mark for exclamatory sentences. So what can be the examples of exclamatory sentences? If I say, oh no, I'm late again. So this is my exclamatory sentence. Okay, oh no, this is my interjection. Whatever things I am using in front, those are known as interjection as well. Okay, those are called interjection. So if I say, oh no, exclamation mark, so this is my interjection. Wow, hurrah, oh shit, alas. So all these are my interjections. Okay, either I can use my interjections or I can say how or what. What a beautiful painting it is. Okay, what a beautiful painting it is, and at the last exclamation mark. Students, make sure that whenever we are using interjection in the beginning, that time I will use exclamation mark, but whenever I am using what and how, that time I have to use my exclamation mark towards the last. Okay, so this is how I will be using. Wow, what a beautiful painting. Okay, so wow, exclamation mark, what a beautiful painting, and full stop. So students, whenever I have to show my emotions, I have to show my excitement, I have to show my amazement, that time I will be using what? I will be using exclamatory sentences. Clear? Okay. So students, I hope that this concept of sentences is clear to you all. Now comes the most important thing which we have studied in second chapter. Now in the first chapter we have understood the identification of sentences. In chapter second we have understood about subject and predicate. So first of all, if you have not seen the video lessons of that chapter, you have to see that to understand the content well, okay? And then you have to see this revision video. So when we are talking about subject and predicate, what do you understand from a subject? What do you know about a subject? Students, beta, whenever we are talking about a subject, what is a subject? A subject is the doer in the sentence, okay? So whosoever is performing any action in the sentence, that is the doer. So that is the subject, okay? If I say, my mother cooks very delicious food, okay? So here, what is my subject? Who is the doer? Who is cooking the food over here? Here, my subject would be what? My subject would be my mother, okay? Because my mother is the doer. She is the one who is cooking the food, right? So that is why she is the doer. So my mother cooks very delicious food. So my mother is the subject, because here she is the one who is performing the action, okay? See, whenever you are stressing upon any sentence, make sure that you will be able to identify what is your subject, what is your helping verb, what is your object, and what is your main verb. When you will identify these things, it would be very easier for you people to transform any sentence, okay, or to identify any subject or predicate. So when you know that doer is the subject, so what is the predicate? Predicate is the remaining part, okay, the telling part of this sentence, that what my subject is doing. So whatever action the subject is doing, that is the predicate part. If I say my mother cooks very delicious food, so here my mother is the subject, cooks very delicious food is the predicate, because most of the time my predicate starts from a verb, and here cooks is my verb, okay? So are you understanding this? Sometimes we have subject part, we have predicate part. So subject part is the one who is doer in the sentence, and predicate part is that one which is stressing upon that what the subject is doing. So whatever portion the subject is doing, that remaining part would be my predicate, okay? Clear till here? Okay. Now see, when you have already understood subject and predicate, then comes the most important thing, compound subject and compound predicate. With a compound means combination or mixture of two. So here firstly we were having only one subject and one predicate, okay? So whenever we have two subjects in a sentence, that would be my compound subject, okay? If I say Rohan and Sohan are best friend, so here we are talking about two people, right? I have noun here, I have name of a person. So here Rohan and Sohan, I have two people, so it means this is my compound subject. In a sentence, whenever I am having two subjects, that would be called my compound subject, okay? And if I talk about compound predicate, whenever in my sentence my one subject is performing two actions, that would be my compound predicate. So basically one person will be doing two actions. So if I say Rohan is eating as well as writing, so here eating and writing we have two verbs, okay, we have two actions. My subject is performing two actions, so that is why I can say that this is my compound predicate. Are you understanding this? If I have two work being done by one subject, that means that this is my compound predicate. Clear? Okay. So students, that's it for today's class. I hope you have understood the concept of sentences and the concept of subject and predicate. So I hope you will revise all these things thoroughly, and you have to complete your revision, right? You have to complete your assignments also, and you have to do your holidays homework plus your project. Some of you have already submitted your holidays homework, that's very nice of you, but some of you are still stuck with your project. So make sure that you do your project in a creative and innovative way. So Now I'll meet you all in the next video lesson. Till then, keep on practicing, keep on completing your work. Goodbye for now. Take care. And yes, before going, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and share the videos with your friends and classmates. Goodbye. Take care.